Dr. Adi Keinan-Schoonbaert, digital curator at the British Library, to talk to us about working in pandemic times, the digital scholarship perspective.
Thank you so much, Colin. So we've all been heavily impacted by this pandemic. We've changed how we work. We're doing things differently, and as everywhere else, BL staff also had to quickly transition to new ways of working. So my presentation will focus on how this transformation has been experienced from the perspective of the BL digital research team, how we changed the way we work, what we encouraged people to do, what changes we have witnessed, and what practices we'd like to keep for the future. So with this presentation, I'll start with an introduction to the digital research team and areas of our work. Then the digital scholarship training program, I'll touch on working with digital collections, then crowdsourcing and working with Wikisource, and finally, I look into new ways of working. So this is us. We're a team with a variety of backgrounds. We work with a matrix environment. That means we have digital curators that work with different collection departments. So I'm the digital curator for the Asian and African collections. And what we basically aim to do is to enable the use of the library's digital collections for research, inspiration, creativity, and enjoyment. And we do this through 5 areas of focus. We promote the use of the library's digital collections and data, and we offer support for anyone interested in using them. We undertake innovative research projects, collaborations, applying digital methods to our collections. Internally, we work towards improving processes to enable digital content to be as accessible as possible. We stay connected to the wider network of organizations and share knowledge, expertise, and our experiences across different communities of practice. And finally, we run our digital scholarship training program to improve the digital skills of BL staff. So elaborating on that last point, one of our main areas of work is our training program. We created it in 2012 for BL staff to develop the skills and knowledge to support new areas of scholarship. We created this program as researcher expectations have already been changing. They're seeking access at scale to our collections for easier, for more efficient search, to visualize collections and to do computational analysis. We run different types of events. These include courses, workshops, talks, and a reading group. And you can see some of the areas of the training that we deliver on the slide. And with a swift change to working from home, we transitioned to the delivery of our training events from on-site to fully online delivery. We started recording courses and talks so that members of staff could watch later if they could not attend. And this transition took place very early in the pandemic. So the first online training event that we offered was on the 17th of March, 2020. This quick transition to providing online training, the fact that many staff members could not do their regular tasks, especially at the very beginning, and the library encouraging staff to develop their skills, these all contributed to a growth in attendance. So this table shows a growing number for both training events that we offered. So that's the first line, and the number of people who attended our courses, that's the second line. So you can see how we managed to provide more training opportunities with the transition to online delivery from 39 events to 59 events. You can also see that between 2018 and 2021, the number of attendees have actually almost doubled from 819 to 1,552 people. And at the same time, this has become less costly for us, saving on expenses of travel and subsistence, which you can see in the last row. This graph shows the average number of attendees per event type. So on the x-axis, you can see the types of training events. Hack and Yak is how we call our hands-on workshops, and then you have courses and lectures. and the y-axis show the average number of attendees per event. So if we look at the purple line, which is the top one, it represents the first year of the pandemic, 2020 to 2021. And you can see that the average number of people attending different types of training events have increased from previous years. So on average, we have 18 people per workshop, 21 people per course, and 42 people per lecture. Our training program has been well subscribed and more people could attend our events. And this is thanks to staff members needing some positive distractions, a library-wide emphasis on learning and personal development. And now there's no need for us to cap numbers of attendees as we did before, so we don't have any room capacity limitations. And thanks to the recordings, the training events that we offer are available for staff to watch after the training takes place. Now, in terms of benefits, we can deliver more events more easily. We can now invite speakers from abroad, so there's better exposure for staff to global work that is done out there. Staff members learn and develop themselves in different areas of digital scholarship, and as a result, members of staff make our digital collections more accessible online. So that's good for the users. But is everyone happy about this? This table shows some of the relevant feedback that we received for 2020 and 2021. If we look at the first row, feedback for a library carpentry course in April 2020, so this is quite early in the pandemic. My feedback is for all 3 lessons, don't do it on Zoom. I know we have no choice at the moment, but it would be so much better if the trainer could see the problems that we're running into. I had to give up halfway today as I got an error message and didn't know what to do, etc. So this Zoom business doesn't always necessarily work for everyone, as does in-person training. Looking at the second line of this table, I liked the pace, thought that keeping track of how everyone was doing through the Zoom yes or no function was a great idea, etc. Next line, really fascinating. I was worried that the group discussion session might not work well over Zoom, but actually I thought it was great. And then record the session. So if I can't make it, you can make it. There's a chain to catch up. I was unwell and could not attend the session last Friday. And lastly, I wouldn't have been able to do this course as I only work mornings at the library. It was great this was available to do via Zoom as it allowed me to attend. So definitely there's more positive than negative feedback, with the first point being a good point. Not every type of training is suitable for online delivery. And many people in general would prefer a face-to-face interaction, but generally people were happy about this. Looking into the future, it's unlikely we'll go back to fully on-site delivery. We know that many staff members would like to have the option for either on-site or online delivery. We will plan a mixed delivery of our training. So for example, if a training event involves more listening rather than doing, then probably online delivery is better. And being able to record talks is a game changer, and we plan on continuing to do that. Now, moving on to another topic, working with digital collections. When the pandemic started, both library users and staff members lost access to the physical collection. And with the lack of that access, the attention was naturally turned to our digital collections. Digital collections became the only source of content for the library to create engaging online content, to promote materials for researchers, to provide access to its collections. And BL colleagues used and communicated these collections during this time. As a result, my team had an increased number of guest blog posts on the digital scholarship blog, which we manage. So about 2/3 of our posts in 2020, 2021 were guest posts. And to manage the increased demand, we consolidated blogging guidelines for our blog to share with guest contributors. Let's look at a few examples of how BL curators and other staff have been applying digital methods to digital collections. We had a story map created by Jenny Norton-Wright, an Arabic scientific manuscript curator from the British Library Qatar Foundation Partnership Project. Jenny took a digitized musical compendium that she cataloged, and she noticed that the colophon had a lot of information about places and dates. showing that it was created during a journey taken by the imperial court in 1663. To visualize this journey and tell the story of the manuscript, Jenny used a platform called StoryMap. So one can follow the journey from one location to another with an interactive map locations, imagery and text. So this is one really good way of engaging, showcasing a collection item online. Earlier this year, one of our workshops was based around the topic of making interactive online exhibits and teaching resources with IIIF manifests by exploring a tool called Exhibit. This tool was created during the pandemic by Nimocin for the University of St. Andrews, and it allows people to build online exhibits using objects in the Universal Viewer, which is the viewer that the library uses. And we realized that this tool allowed an opportunity to engage with our online audiences, and several curators and other staff use this IIIF powered tool to showcase collection items. And I'll show a couple of examples from our Asian collections. So the first example is an exhibit of Japanese design books. About 80 of these design books were digitized last year, and the library is currently making them available online in IIIF. Dating from the mid-17th to the early 20th century, this collection comprises of woodblock printed books and manuscripts ranging from practical manuals and pattern books produced by textile manufacturers and merchants to lavish design books. Sarah Hale from the Heritage Made Digital program chose the items for her exhibit based on a blog post by collection curator Hamish Todd. And you can see how the exhibit interface looks like. So if one clicks the arrow that leads you to another image, and then you can see information next to different pages or areas within pages. Another exhibit was prepared by Jana Igunma, curator for Thai, Lao, and Cambodian collections. I think Jana might be in the audience. Jana focused on an illustrated Thai cat treatise kept at the BL. In the 19th century, in Thailand, there was a tradition of producing treatises on animals that played important roles at royal courts and in ritual. And among such were, first of all, elephants, especially albinos, but also horses and cats. And with IIIF, you can zoom in and out of an area of an image. So it's a useful way to focus on a very particular part or a particular aspect of an image and then saying something about it. Many interactions with digital collections came from the BL Qatar Foundation Partnership Project. This project has been running what they call Imaging Hack Days. These are days set aside for the project's imaging team to use their creative and technical skills to hack the material in the digitized collection. And you can see some examples of mini digital projects by Qatar team members as a result of these hack days, but also outside of their scope. And these were then posted on the digital scholarship blog to engage with our online audiences. We've seen the story map example, and another example is Hannah Nagel created a guide on how to make collages using British Library Flickr images. So we have a collection of over 1 million images available through Flickr. So that was just fantastic. Another area in which we've seen an increased engagement during the pandemic is our crowdsourcing projects. Projects became even more popular, especially early in the pandemic, when some people could not perform the usual duties or go out and they needed something positive to do. BL colleagues have witnessed a very high demand, and we're busy with marketing and press to communicate promptly with our online audiences. We received many positive comments and feedback about how participating and contributing to projects helped raise the morale during these difficult times. Some examples of BL crowdsourcing projects include In the Spotlight, so it's making digitized playbills. These were used to advertise theater performances more findable online and to give people a chance to see past entertainments. We have Living with Machines. It's mostly based on research questions around 19th century newspapers. For example, trying to gather examples of what people meant by machine at the time. So this is from looking at newspaper articles. Agents of Enslavement uses 18th to 19th century newspapers to research slavery in Barbados and create a database of enslaved people. Canadian Wildlife is a project where volunteers transcribe handwritten field notes that accompany recordings of a wildlife collection within our sound archive. And the georeferencer, which enables volunteers to create geospatial data from digitized maps by adding control points to old and modern maps. Other crowdsourcing work was done internally by our collection metadata team. So for example, enhancing legacy records via the language identification project. So colleagues with specific language skills were able to assist with checking machine-assigned language codes, identifying languages and adding keywords to records. And another initiative was enhancing metadata for Microsoft digitized books, such as place and date of publication, genres, editions, etc. So these initiatives have been very popular during the pandemic, more than the usual uptake. Another area of our work with digital collections is working with Wikimedia family platforms such as Wikidata, Wikibase, Wikisource. Earlier this year, the team was joined by Lucy Heaney, our Wikimedian in residence, and Lucy commented that since I started in March, there has been repeated reference to the way the pandemic has shifted people's attention towards Wikimedia. A couple of instances where it was a good work that would not otherwise be prioritized platform. One such BL project was inspired by a Wikisource project taking place at the National Library of Scotland. So Wikisource, to those who are not familiar, is a digital library for out-of-copyright books that can be viewed online and downloaded for free. And it displays book transcriptions side by side to the page images. And we took inspiration from Gavin Wilshire, who was then at the National Library of Scotland. Gavin presented on the library's project to upload 3,000 digitized Scottish chapbooks to Wikisource during the first lockdown. So in the NLS, staff members could not continue their normal work, which led to the development of this project to transcribe and correct transcriptions of Scottish chapbooks. And this was a very positive experience for NLS staff. And this inspired digital curator Tom Derrick's work with Bengali Wikisource, which included 2 proofreading competitions for digitized and OCR'd Bengali books as part of the 2 Centuries of Indian Print project. As an Indian-based platform with interface written in Bangla, this was a good way of widening access to researchers based in India who might not use the BL catalog or the BL viewer to access the text. And as the NLS project, this initiative also used the Wikisource crowdsourcing functionality that enables users to correct the OCR, correct the transcription. Tom ran a month-long competition earlier this year in collaboration with the West Bengal Wikimedia user group. And this saw volunteer users of Bengali Wikisource fully proofread more than 2,500 pages of text from books. And they are now running another competition to proofread more books. Finally, looking at the way we work. So one of the challenges that we face as a team come pandemic is that we don't actually get to see some of our colleagues, not even in online meetings. And while each digital curator was in regular contact with her respective collection department, there was a limited interdepartmental flow of information and ideas. So we introduced what we called collection areas champions for digital scholarship, and we started hosting monthly meetings of this community of practice. And this informal community offers a space for sharing knowledge and support between collection areas, particularly around digital initiatives and innovations, digital project development, digital skill building. So this helps us communicate across teams in the absence of seeing colleagues either in person or on calls. Another significant shift in our work, and I'm sure this will resonate with many of you too, the world has opened up. We're now able to attend and present at international conferences or to international audiences much more than before. No traveling is required, reducing the cost of attending, the personal impact of traveling. Also, many conferences, workshops, and other events are free to attend online, and often presentations are recorded and made available to watch at a later date. In terms of knowledge and information flow, this is great. Access to information and exchange of ideas is more free and flowing than probably ever before. But it does come with some challenges as well. We find ourselves putting in more conference submissions, having to manage that against other work duties. When you are at a conference, you have to manage time away when you're not actually really away, so you keep doing some other stuff or you try to do other stuff. Work-life balance needs to be managed with events at different time zones, so you may find yourself working in the evening when you wouldn't necessarily do that before. And I don't know if it's the same for others, but for me, it's a constant feeling of FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm just about to finish, Connie. So at any point in time, you are missing on something that you could have attended. So it's fair to say that we're still adjusting. We're still trying to figure out what works for us, what doesn't work for us. And we're always open to suggestions on how to work better with the digital collections and how to work better with our colleagues. So thank you for listening, and feel free to get in touch and feel free to ask any questions either now or later in this conference. Thank you. Oh, you're on mute, Colin. Sorry, Colin, I think you're still on mute.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you, Adi, really for that really excellent, comprehensive overview of all the digital projects and initiatives that are going on with library collections, and particularly as you work on the Asian and African collections. It's really great work that your department is doing. There's a lot in that presentation. Are there any questions or comments or discussion points that anybody wants to raise? Feel free, please.
I will also be around for the rest of the event in case some things come up later.
And you can always contact Adi. And then there was nothing in the Q&A.
No,
no,
afraid
no.
not.
Oh, Gillian. Oh, no. Gillian, please.
Yes, a little bit slow to get going. Absolutely fascinating talk, Adi. Really a lot to think about, and I shall be going back to the recording and you know, thinking some more. I'm particularly envious that the British Library have their own digital curator for Asian and African collections. And I'm wondering, with your sort of special connection with the collection, what do you think being a dedicated specialist to that brings, especially to training and engagement with staff in the section?
Thank you so much for your comments. I think this is quite a good benefit to staff. We have, and not just because obviously I'm there, but because we have a team, and in the team we have different areas of expertise, and that helps really build up that training program from different perspectives. And also often we deliver the training ourselves. Sometimes we invite instructors to deliver the training to BL staff, but it's not just the fact that we're able to deliver that training, because we are part of the BL. So the digital research team is at the BL. We're always available for for anyone to reach out and ask any questions. So for example, I'm part of different meetings with Asian and African sections. And if I get any particular questions from within the department, I can then arrange a talk about something. So there's quite a lot of dialogue in case people are interested in something particular. In case, for example, if someone is developing a proposal, a funding proposal, and they need more information on a particular aspect, then I can give them guidance, or I can tell them where they can find more information, or I can develop something around that. So I think it's quite useful for people, and we do see like more and more demand and interest and need in working with digital collections. And in that sense, and things are moving really, really fast. And even for me, sometimes it's hard to keep up with new tools, new platforms, new technologies, new methods. So let alone anyone that's not their areas of expertise. So I think it's good for staff members to have people that at least attempt to keep on top of these things and keep updating, because things always evolve. So I hope it is useful for our staff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gillian. Are there any other questions or comments anyone wants to raise or ask? Well, if that's the case, then Adi, thank you once again for a really superb presentation. And if anybody has any questions, you can see from the presentation how you can contact Adi if you want to follow up anything there after the conference, or as she said, during the conference on the chat. Well, we might as well then, Chris, take a 12-minute break.